All right. Good morning. Hopefully everything goes right in this video. This computer is acting crazy. When I was firing up this video, for some reason, the computer just shut down by itself. It gave me a message saying it was going over some error information and it needed to restart. So I don't know how this is going to go. The image might be glitching. The videos might play slow. I don't know what's going to happen, but let's go anyway. I'm making this video because I was on a good panel last night on the Angryman channel. The channel is called The Angryman. And this is one of the better panels. Some fellas got up there and we were talking a lot of good stuff. We got into violence, talking about violence, and Angryman made one of the most interesting comments I ever heard. First off, by no means is this any type of smoke video or nothing like that. I know I put his name in the title. I'm not doing none of that. Angryman is my man. I've been watching his channels for years. He's a good content creator. He hustle hard. A lot of people don't like him. I get that. He's in the red pill space. It is what it is. But we were busting it up last night. This man said something very interesting. And I think it goes all into what's going on in the war and what's always been going on in the world. It's deep. And the situation in Gaza is getting real. I mean, real. It's real now. Not that it wasn't in the beginning, but it's hit next levels. And a couple things manifested overnight that I'm going to talk about. Because this has gotten crazy. And I think everybody needs to take a look at this. The days of people being paranoid and saying, oh, this might happen and that might happen are gone. We are in real life, chaotic, psychotic times where almost anything is possible. So we've already seen the world shut down and we almost burned down the earth over a dope fiend. Those are two clues right there. I'm going to share my screen and get into this video, this Angryman video, because this is heavy. Just listen carefully to this, y'all. Wait a minute. All right, let's do it. Listen to this. All right, just bear with me. I'm going to play about 5 minutes of this and then give context on why.
Crazy, Uncle Jeff. It was my era. It was my era that niggas graduated from the fighting to the guns and shit. Because I remember it. I remember because when I was a young buck, that's all we did was fight. But by the time you get to like, I want to say 95, 96, niggas stopped all of that. Niggas just wanted to start shooting motherfuckers and shit. But that's all we used to do was fight. That's all we used to do.
Where you from, Angryman?
Well, shit, around that time I was in VA.
Our year was 91 over here.
91?
That was the end of the knuckles.
Yep. Yeah. So like,
look at our boxing.
Reason why I say that is because gun violence ramped up in the ghettos. There's always been violence in the ghettos, far back as ghettos go. But in the 80s, that's when gun violence in the ghettos went to the biblical numbers like almost overnight. Not gonna get into why. That ain't what this video is about. Even then in the 80s, you would still see guys. It wasn't unlikely that you would see two guys get into a squabble and they would take the guns off their hips, put them on the hood of a car, rumble, whatever happened. You know, people would be around to supervise to make sure nothing get too crazy, nobody get hurt too bad. It's just two men settling a disagreement, and they would put their guns on the hood of the car, handle their business, pick up their guns, shake hands, and then go their separate ways. Sometimes even become friends after that. I've seen it. There was more honor, much more honor, and men were more courageous. There was still a lot of shootings, but we all know why that happened. But it seemed to me like in 91, that's when I came back to the States from Hawaii. When I left, it was kind of the way I just described. When I came back, it was just all guns. That was the year for me in Philly. Not disputing what Angryman said. You know, every town adopted this culture. Like, this happened successively, and it just happened everywhere all at once. Other cities picked up on it, which is shameful, but something to say about niggas there. I ain't scared to say it. I'm gonna let this continue though.
Look look at the boxers that come out of Philly and when it stopped.
Yeah.
That's all you gotta do.
Yeah. So like in like, I say in like 90, 94, 93, you feel what I'm saying? In VA, dudes would square the fuck. Man, we used to go, where we would go to different areas because where we were at, it wasn't a whole lot of chicks. So we would always go somewhere else. We'd go to somebody else's fucking town and be hollering at the chicks and shit. And so
that'll get it.
Niggas don't like that shit, right? So
That'll get it.
Bruh, we done had times where we be outside the mall. It'd be about 20 of us against 20 other niggas from that fucking town and shit.
Yeah,
We in that
unattractive knuckle draggers.
brawling. Just
You
getting
niggas just fighting over bitches you didn't have a chance with. No.
Just be patient. This conversation is leading up to what I'm going to talk about. We're almost there.
getting it in, bruh. Like, ain't nothing. Look, there's nothing better. Look, it's funny because niggas see that shit on wrestling, right? But niggas is trying to get at you, and you trying to hold your own against two niggas, and then your homeboy come out of nowhere. Wow! Hey, catch one of them and shit.
Oh,
Bruh,
yeah.
we used to brawl like. But
Oh, yeah. I used to love to kick niggas in the balls from the back.
Oh.
Whoa! You ain't ready for a ball shot from the back, nigga. Ball, asshole, and all. And I'm trying to kick you in the nose from that way.
Bro.
Now, I'm not mad at what these brothers are saying because we're kind of like clowning around. At this point, we've been clowning around and joking around for 10, 15 minutes. So I don't want people to think that these guys are just malicious assholes. We're being silly right now, but we're being real. You know, this is more joke than context. But I understand what these men are saying. Like, if you look at sports, boxing and contact sports, you got to admit, I mean, if you can get a billion people to watch the Super Bowl and millions of people to watch a prize fight where two people pummel each other, and now we've taken it to new levels and got MMA, violence has evolved. You could give the argument that it's devolved, considering the history of holy wars that last hundreds of years and the Colosseum where men fought animals and all this type of stuff. But keep listening, and you're going to get the context of why I'm making this video in the first place. Keep listening.
The most satisfying moment in my life is I was on a fucking I was at a damn house party, right? And we all in there motherfucking and niggas got the fighting and shit, right? So I come out on the freaking porch and this one nigga was running up the stairs and I caught that nigga in the chest with a front kick. Kicked him off the damn
all the way out.
Kicked him off the damn steps and shit, bro. That was the
all right. Now you heard that, right? The man said that was the most satisfying moment of his life. Now we're joking around. I know that he doesn't mean that. So I don't want nobody clipping this up and then going to roast Angryman and make a video about him. I get what he means though. He's talking about the glory you feel when you've achieved victory in that fashion, where it's something just extreme. It's like dunking on somebody for the last point of the game. Or something like it's a feeling that we get that we defeated the other man in exuberant fashion, right? So I understand what he means. That's not the most satisfying. I'm pretty sure if we weren't talking about this, just a normal day, you would have asked Angryman what was the most satisfying moment in your life. He probably would have said something about, you know, his firstborn being born, or the first time his son walked, or something like that. We're kidding around up here. I'm not setting nobody up for roasting. I'm going to give context, I promise. But you heard what the man said. And then Uncle Jeff followed up, added in with his jokes. Like, they're basically saying there's a gratification in defeating another man. And the thing that Angryman is about to say in a minute or so is really deep. And that's why I'm saying this. I think there is something in us. I'm going to let this play some more.
The most satisfying feeling I've ever felt to this day.
That's funny as hell.
Damn. Why is that in us, yo? What's wrong with us?
Nothing. It's tribal.
I don't know, bro. It's look.
Yo, the guy Knocker C is right, yo. Cynthia G is right, man. Something wrong with us.
Bro, look, Reese, let me ask you.
No, man, they be wrong with the black.
There is nothing wrong with combat, bro.
Listen, y'all can have fun with this any way you want. I was joking around right there, but goddamn, man. I mean, and was I? They say that about us, Princella and the Gynocracy and all. They say that we are eminently violent, like it's natural. I believe it. I don't go around planning on violence, or nor do I want to ever. At no point in my life, I've never attacked another human being for no reason, ever, not even one time. But there is something there. I don't know if this is natural. I argue that everything humans do is natural, but the way, in the context that other people use the word natural, I'm not sure that applies to the violence in men. I think this is something we accrued over time. Written history has violence throughout it. But what was the history before the writings? You know, when they dig up the old ancient civilizations, before all the stuff you see on the Discovery Channel, I'm talking hundreds of thousands of years ago. There's no weapons, there's no evidence of war or any of that. But what do I know? All of this shit could be lies. But all I know is that I feel something inside of me right now in the world that I grew up in, where there's not a chip on my shoulder, but an extra eye, if you understand that. I'm always expecting something to go on because I feel like there's a nature of conflict in men versus each other, not even against the women, just versus I don't know what it is. I can't describe it. The Gynocracy hasn't even figured it out. They just talk about it. But keep listening, y'all. This is interesting.
There's no. I tell you when combat is
I
wrong.
feel it inside of me, nigga. You can't lie to me.
Reese,
I
no, I'm
punch so
not.
many niggas in the face is ridiculous.
Reese, listen to this, bro. Listen to this. I'm gonna say this shit, and when I say it, I know you gonna feel it, bro. The only feeling, in my opinion, that is as satisfying as the climax during sex is catching a dude square in his fucking mouth, just bong, like.
Did you hear that? That sounds crazy if you just tuned in at that moment. I understand that he's joking around, but I understand what he means. He's going to give context. And I almost knew what he was going to say. It's like when you've been pushed over the edge for whatever reason. I don't even know why men do this to each other. When you get pushed over the edge and you address the bully or whatever you want to call it, and you make contact with his face, there's no better feeling. The man is right. I agree with him here. I don't have a natural love for hurting another person. But when someone's fucking with you and you punch them in the face, there's no glory like that. When the nervousness wears off, later on that you're celebrating. It's the truth. So, ladies, you might be right.
It's the most.
Why do you think boxing exists?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
It's the most, especially if you catch him while he running his mouth.
There you go.
If you catch the dude while he motherfucker
Context.
just catch.
Oh yeah, you might bite on
That.
Yo, something is wrong with us, yo. We are psychotic. Yo. We have to be better than the other men around us. I get up and run 2 miles every morning, and I don't have to.
Yes,
I
you
feel like
do.
I'm competing all the time.
It's the truth, y'all. It's the truth. I noticed something psychologically, not necessarily wrong with me, but something is there. And that's what's making me get up every morning. I'm 53 years old. Why do I get up in the morning and train like a prize fighter every morning? There's a million ways to keep your body in shape. Right? I could do calisthenics, all types of other things. I could play racquetball. I would still be in shape and still have the same body. But I get up every morning, shadow box for like 15 minutes, do a couple of drills, speed drills, whatever. Lift the little weights, and I run so that I make sure my lungs are right. Just because I know there's a high probability I can get into a conflict with another man. I know what Angryman is saying. I kind of know in my head, but I disagree with him a little bit. But I kind of know that some of it is true. I don't think violence is natural. I think the way the world is, our present culture, you know, by the time a man gets a certain age, he develops a little chip on his shoulder because of the way things are. Maybe that's become nature. Maybe I'm wrong and right at the same time. Who knows? But this is interesting. And there's war going on, and that's why I'm talking about violence today. I'm going to listen to about another minute of this, and then I'm going to get to the war.
There's some shit coming. You're gonna need to be ready for, Reese. But anyway, here's the most satisfying thing, and most satisfying thing that ever happened to me in a fight. And after that, I chased it and I could never find it. Is being able to punctuate the bullshit you said by winning the fight and saying it again. I remember I was a junior in high school, and I
agree with that man right there. That's a good feeling. It is. There is something in us, man. That's Uncle Jeff talking. I've been on dozens of panels with this guy. Everybody loves this guy. I mean, this dude is a character. He's hella funny. He was in the entertainment industry. He talks about all the entertainers he knows and worked with. This guy's out of Chicago. I like him. He's good for panels. You know, this is a guy you can have an adult conversation with, and it won't get into the fuckery. And when it does, he knows how to mellow it out with his little sarcasm and how to keep the young boys at bay without things getting to threats. And this man is good. Go give Uncle Jeff some love and absolutely subscribe to the Angryman channel. So I'm gonna get into the war, because overnight, let's just hope this goddamn computer acts right. Overnight, man. Wow. Listen up, y'all. Just listen up. I'm gonna go to 10,000, not 1,000. I looked at a bunch of news videos. So let's look at Tim Pool real quick. See what he had to say. Real deep. Whew, really deep. Get ready, y'all. You will see commercials on my channel.
That Hamas.
Let me go back. Listen. Just listen.
Lindsey Graham is calling for a preemptive strike on Iran, saying we should target their oil fields because they're funding this terrorism.
You heard that.
A U.S. Navy carrier strike group is now in place to stop anyone from making the Israel-Hamas war any worse than it already is. China is reportedly trying to drag the United States and Western powers into a multi-pronged battlefield on 4 different fronts, and thus they may move to take Taiwan. Ladies and gentlemen, World War III. Right now, with the Eastern European front and Russia's invasion, everyone seems to have an interest in escalating this conflict, and all at once, it could happen.
Tim Pool, I would argue that World War III started a long time ago. If you look closely, things were kind of mellow on the planet when Trump was in office. As soon as Biden comes into office, we're 75% into his administration, and already we've lost 3 nations to the world. Afghanistan is not Afghanistan anymore. Ukraine is not Ukraine anymore. Gaza, we'll see. We'll see what happens to Gaza by this evening. World War III started a long time ago. The United States has been directly involved with all 3 of these conflicts.
BRICS nations, Iran, many of these other countries that oppose Western influence see this as an opportunity to split the U.S.'s military power, NATO especially, and then take what they want. It's kind of like you got the police responding to a bank robbery, and so other criminals decide to go rob liquor stores. It's like a riot breaks out, and then what do we see? Mass looting. But this on the international scale and risking, I guess, nuclear annihilation.
Wow.
Vladimir Putin has made it very clear. He will use...
Now, Tim Pool is not known for making extreme comments and going off the deep end. I've been watching this guy a long time. I'm starting to get in the feel that Tim Pool over there is starting to lean a little conservative too. I don't know. He says he's in the middle. But that comment right there shook me, coming from him. I want to hear it again.
I guess nuclear annihilation. Vladimir Putin has made it very clear.
Hope not.
He will use nuclear weapons. There are calls now from inside Israel to flatten Gaza.
Wow.
Using whatever means they have.
I'm going to get into that.
And if that happens, I would not be surprised to see international conflict escalate. Now, I suppose, as we're learning about the strike group entering the Mediterranean, well, what does that mean? And does that escalate? But understand, each and every one of these stories are grains of sand making up a heap, as the saying goes. Marine unit leaves Kuwait exercise early.
Wow.
Because of emerging events.
Wow.
And what could that mean? We'll go through this. We'll go through all of it. An Israeli lawmaker is urging her government to use everything in its arsenal, including doomsday weapons.
Wow. Now, wait a minute.
Same time.
Wait a minute. Come on. Wait a minute now. Hamas is not a world superpower. They don't pose the kind of threat where you would need doomsday weapons against them. If you consider the size of that area, right? You know what? I'm going to hold this comment for the next video. I'm going to listen to Tim Pool for about another minute. I don't want to steal all of his content. Go back and watch this video. Let's go a little bit more, and then I'm going to play another video. Wow.
We now have reports taking off. Hamas has called for a global day of jihad tomorrow. NYPD are being deployed in full.
That is Friday the 13th, by the way, and that's today. This is an old video, so that's today. And I'm about to go out here into the world and go to work on Friday the 13th during the call of Hamas. We got a Jewish community in Philadelphia. They're scattered around, but they're here.
I believe they're calling an all NYPD in uniform due to the risk against Jewish population and protests and violence, which I think is strongly possible. I think it's interesting, however, the New York Post said that they're calling for protests. Protests. Is that what jihad means? Sure, you could technically argue that. No. But I don't think when you have people celebrating the death of civilians in New York City, they're planning on just protesting.
Right.
But this is it. Now, before I get into the minutia.
All right, that's enough. Shout out to Tim Pool. Wow. That's a lot to take in right there. And there's more. So, let's check this out. Madness. You know this computer is slow. Oh boy, what did I just do? Oh shit.
Right.
I don't know what's going on with this computer, but it is the craziest computer in all of YouTube. Patience. There we go. There it is.
Israeli forces gathered along the Gaza border as about half the population of the Strip is told to leave their homes and
that is not snow that you see blowing in the air. Get a load of this.
head south. Right now, you are looking at video of leaflets falling from the sky in northern Gaza, telling people to leave now.
Wow, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin also meeting with officials in Israel, and we expect him to speak any moment now, live from Tel Aviv. But first, Trey Yanks has some breaking news for us from southern Israel. Trey, what are you learning?
Yeah, Todd, Carly, good morning. According to a diplomatic source speaking with Fox News, Hamas, the group in control of Gaza, is preventing civilians from leaving their homes after the Israelis warned them of an impending strike. I also spoke with a civilian in Gaza City who confirmed this information and then reached out to Hamas, where a senior official told me, quote, "It's technically impossible." This is a significant development because we do know the Israelis will drop leaflets and they will do what's called a roof knock strike to warn civilians inside their homes, especially high-rise buildings, that an airstrike is going to come and that they need to get out immediately or they could be killed. This is significant because the source indicated Hamas is threatening people and preventing them from leaving if they try to get to a safer location. It's also significant amid the backdrop of this new warning by Israel, an order for all Gazan civilians in the northern part of the Strip to leave immediately. They're giving them 24 hours, a big indication that a ground operation is imminent. Todd,
Wow,
Carly?
but wait, Trey, then all of these Palestinian people will die.
Wait. 24 hours. All right, so I don't know how their road system is set up. But I live in New Jersey. I don't know if you can move 1 million people or so in 24 hours from anywhere without. I don't understand the rules of war. I don't. I kind of get it. Well, I know what war is. I don't understand the rules of war. I read that jive turkey ass book, The Art of War by Xi Jinping or whoever wrote it, but I don't understand it, why it happens, but dropping leaflets to warn civilians, leave, because we're going to destroy this area. The hell with your livelihood and everything that you worked hard for all your life. All of you, just leave. Pack up what you can carry, put in your trunk, leave. I hope nothing like this ever happens in America. I don't know if I could just I don't have a car. How many book bags can I carry and how far can I walk? And where do I go when I leave? I think I'm going to live to see, I hate to say this, a conflict on U.S. soil. A conflict on U.S. soil with others here. If our resources are spread out in too many places, it won't be hard to come here. If our best weaponry is somewhere else. Think of it that way. Listen to what you heard what Tim Pool said. He said China is trying to trick us into getting into shit all over the world and financing it themselves and involved, making it happen so that our guard will be down so they can slide in over here. Damn, I hope he's wrong. Let me play this video. Ooh, can't even talk this morning.
Why would that be Hamas's goal?
Look, there's a parallel information war going on here, and it is traditionally one of the most difficult parts of this story to cover because there are women and children dying in Gaza in these Israeli airstrikes, and that shouldn't be glossed over. There are horrific scenes inside Gaza of neighborhoods that are totally flattened and babies that have been killed there. It's a challenging story to cover following that massacre on Saturday morning because we saw so many innocent Israelis slaughtered. And Israeli officials and top military commanders that we've spoken with basically have said, look, we have to get to Hamas. We have to get to our civilians that were kidnapped, and there will be collateral damage. Woo! And this is the collateral damage, the civilian casualties in Gaza. And there are just bloody scenes unfolding there. So why would Hamas want them not to leave their homes? Likely has to do with part of the parallel information war that they are waging against Israel amid this ongoing conflict.
It's absolutely a PR move at this point, and if you had any idea, any question as to what their ultimate motives are, it clearly is willing to sacrifice their people for the PR motive. I want to ask you this question, though. 1.1 million people, that's a lot of people just to control, if you will, and to say you can't leave your homes.
Exactly.
How are the Hamas terrorists, with their numbers, basically getting 1.1 million people to not move? That seems like a tall order for Hamas. How are they doing it?
Yeah, we don't have any reporting indicating that they're stopping people from moving, but that's certainly a possibility. This is specifically when the Israelis warn about impending strikes. In terms of the evacuation order that's supposed to happen over the next 24 hours, You're right. It will be incredibly difficult to move 1.1 million people. I spoke with someone else in Gaza City this morning who indicated there are thousands of people heeding those orders and starting to move from the northern part of Gaza into Gaza City, but not yet from Gaza City further south. So a lot of technical details here in all of this, but it's important to note 24 hours is not enough time to get 1 million civilians out of the way. And that should be noted. The Israelis are only giving them 24 hours, and there is really simply nowhere for them to go. Those who do leave will likely walk. They will pick the things that they can grab on their backs with their children and their families, and they will go south. The next largest city that is south is Khan Yunis, but it's very far away. There's an area before you get to Khan Yunis, they may be able to go to a more rural area of the border. Is a city called Rafah. Todd.
Okay.
Quick thing, y'all. So, I don't know. Somebody told me that 8 million people came over our borders in the Biden administration. 8 million people. That's like adding another New York to the United States. That's a lot of people. If this happens, it probably has already, because this is an old video. I haven't even clicked on any updated news from this morning. This is from yesterday. Not going to do that on this stream. I want y'all to do that independently. See what you come across. But I'm wondering if 1 million people leave this place, right? I highly doubt that they'll come here. You know, the United States is aligned with Israel. So, I mean, if it was the other way around, we'd probably let a bunch of people from Israel here. But I don't know. What would happen if these people, 1 million people, where are they going to go? He's talking about what city is south of here. What can they accommodate them? That's 1 million people. Will some of those people come here? That is a good question. I'm dying to see the 6 o'clock news tonight. I can't wait to get off from work and come home and watch the news. Gonna listen to like another minute of this craziness, talk a little bit of shit, and then get out of here.
All right. Well, the realities of war are horrific, and they are playing out right now. Trey, thank you.
All right, that's that. So, in case you don't know, I mean, how could you not? But at this point, there are. I don't know what the hell that is, but let's mute YouTube. In case you don't know, apparently there's over 1,000 people dead, and that's of last night, so that number could be higher. Over 1,000 people dead in these attacks. And, oh man, I hope there's some type of hoax or something, but there's reports of children being beheaded, man. And they're saying that there's images of dead children all over TikTok and all the social media networks. I'm not even gonna go look for that stuff today. I'm staying off of those platforms for a little while, because I know I'm not gonna see that on YouTube, because nobody can show that. I'm not interested in seeing none of that, man. But this is crazy. This is going to another level. I don't know what the world is, what the future of the world is, and I'm talking immediate future in the next couple months. The last election year, you remember how chaotic that was. They got something in store for us. I can feel it. Something big. Man. I'm pulling my resources together because I'm getting ready for this. I'm talking, this might sound silly. I'm talking like solar devices and emergency food and everything. I don't know what's going to happen, but history shows that nothing lasts forever, man. The most powerful nations historically have all fallen at some point or another. Nothing lasts forever. It might be our turn. I don't know. I hate to start off your morning with hysteria and I don't know, negative talk, but you got to be real about what's going on in the world. This shit's crazy, man. I'm going to stop this video right here, get the hell out of here and go to work. Work on my soul today. God damn. I'm glad y'all helped. I'm glad y'all tuned in. The few people that did, and whoever watches this, thank you too. I more than likely will be doing a video later on tonight too, while everybody else is live, because the news will probably be crazy. I'm anticipating it. But for now, yo, I'm out of here, man. Thanks for coming.